Imagine building a company in your garage, changing the world before you turn 30, only to have the people you trusted most put a knife in your back. That's what happened to Steve Jobs. It all started with a dream. A young Steve Jobs and his friend Steve Wozniak tinkering away, building the Apple I and then the Apple II. They weren't just making computers, they were building a revolution. Then came the Macintosh, a machine so intuitive, so different, it was meant to change everything. Apple became a rising giant, and Jobs, with his electrifying presentations and uncompromising vision, became the face of that revolution. But his intensity, the very fire that fueled Apple's success, also made people nervous. The company's board grew worried about his demanding leadership style. A power struggle began to brew, quietly at first, then all at once, with the CEO he himself had brought in, John Sculley. Suddenly, there were meetings behind closed doors, whispers in the hallways. Decisions were being made without him. The ground beneath him was starting to move, and he could feel it. Then, the final blow. In a dramatic boardroom showdown, the board sided with Sculley. Steve Jobs was stripped of all his power. The company he poured his heart and soul into, the company that was his identity, pushed him out. They didn't just fire him. In a way, they erased him. They took his company, his dream, and left him with nothing but the pain of knowing it was all built on his vision. Most people would have been broken, but not Steve. He took a massive gamble and started a new company, Next. Then, he bought a small computer graphics division that would later become Pixar, the animation powerhouse that gave us Toy Story and changed filmmaking forever. These years in the wilderness were crucial. He learned patience. He learned restraint. He learned what it truly meant to be a leader. Years later, he would say, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me." Meanwhile, the company he left behind was failing. Without his vision, Apple was lost, teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. In a twist of fate that seems scripted for a movie, Apple bought Next to use its software. And with that deal, Steve Jobs returned. First as an advisor, then as interim CEO. He was back. He moved fast, ruthlessly cutting products that didn't fit his vision and completely rebuilding the company's culture around innovation and design excellence. And then came the comeback of the century. The iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. One after another, these products didn't just save Apple, they defined our modern world. Apple didn't just recover, it became the most valuable company on the planet. History now remembers him as the ultimate visionary. They put a knife in his back, but he used it to cut a new path the world will never forget. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs. Your legacy continues to inspire us all. So, here's a question for you. Do you believe Steve Jobs needed to be betrayed to become the icon he was? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.